Well, the sky is the color of a cornflower as we get set for baseball. 76 degrees right now. No chance of rain. The rest of the weekend looks good, too. Winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour. A lazy breeze out towards center field. Let's take a look at how Oklahoma lines up. It'll be Trey Gamble at the top. The left fielder, Camden Johnson, is at third base. Brendan Brock, the catcher. Jackson Willits is the shortstop. Dayton LaChance is the first baseman. Alec Blair plays right field. The DH is Nolan Stevens. Kyle Branch hits eighth at second base, to be followed by Jason Walk in center field. Now, this Oklahoma offense, Ronnie, has 143 walks already and leads the SEC in stolen bases as well. And you see Cooper Moore there out of Bigsby, Oklahoma. This is a big start for him and the Tigers as they look to get over 500 in the SEC in this, the fifth game.
Yeah, Cooper Moore familiar with University of Oklahoma, as you mentioned, transfer from Kansas and from that region. And you see 3-2, and the strikeouts have been really nice. 35 punch-outs in 28 innings, only 7 walks. Really commands the zone, the velocity in the low 90s. A lot of pitchability. We're going to see a number of different pitches, curve, slider, change. He'll throw it in any count.
And that changeup can be devastating. We've seen him use it to great result in most of the starts this year. There aren't many empty seats, and people are still piling in. There's basketball going on across the street in women's play. LSU involved in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. The Lady Tigers had a big lead at halftime. Lots of purple in the stands already and not too many empty seats. This is going to be the middle game of the series and much anticipated. Oklahoma ranked. LSU had been ranked before falling into a tailspin, but certainly the Tigers feel like they're a much better team than they've been lately. Cooper Moore will be throwing to Omar Cerna. Cerna, by the way, seems to be Cooper Moore's personal catcher. He has caught every time that Cooper Moore has been on the mound.
Now, Cerna, Cerna, who also, Lynn, has kind of come on a little bit offensively.
Oh, has he? Has he?
He's gotten hot, had a big home run on Tuesday night against Grambling. Also was active last night as well with a base hit.
So here we go with about most of the outfield still having to deal with the sunshine. In the first pitch, swing and a miss.
93 on that fastball, down and away. Cooper Moore, one of the number 6 ranked Division I top 50 transfer pitchers from a year ago.
Gamble hits it right back from whence it came. Cooper Moore stabs it with the glove side and gets the easy out at first base. So a 1-3 put out on the second pitch of the game.
I was talking to Cooper Moore's grandfather earlier today. He's a graduate of Oklahoma State, so this game is very personal to him. You know, not a lot of love lost in that family between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma.
Camden Johnson steps to the plate. Mark Winters is calling balls and strikes. Morris Hodges is working first base. Zach Neff is the second base umpire. And David Susi is working third. There's a strike. The count is level at 1. Ronnie Rance, Lynn Rollins with you. Call a buddy or two and tell them the game is on. Oklahoma and LSU, the middle game of the 3-game series. Tomorrow's game starts at 2.
Oklahoma as a team batting .298 on the season. That's a really nice Uncle Charlie right there. 12-6 curveball. .298 as a team is Oklahoma batting. That compared to .285 for LSU.
The 1-2 pitch. Moore working ahead early. Swing and a miss. That pitch in the mid-80s, and it had Johnson out in front.
Yeah, a little straight changeup that time, and it had some great arm side run to it. Watch this pitch as the ball just kind of tumbles away from the left-handed hitter. Very Kason Evans-esque. You see how the ball just drops out of the zone. It's at the thighs, and then all of a sudden the bottom falls out. Excellent straight change.
Moore goes back to the fastball to Brendan Brock.
Excellent tilt on that 94 fastball from Moore. You know, that Kind of starts off at the thigh, breaks down at the knees, makes it difficult on the hitter. It's hard to hit a round ball with a round bat squarely if you've got some really good angle and tilt on your pitches.
LSU pitching held Oklahoma to only 4 hits last night. The Tigers got 8. Brock was 0 for 4, and he struck out 3 times. Oklahoma's catcher swings through that one. He's hitting .316 on the year.
2-1 pitch. You're expecting with nobody on, a fastball early in the game, and Moore threw that changeup and went back to the well again.
And the same result. He gets a comebacker. He gets a couple of strikeouts. A very, very effective top of the first for Cooper Moore, the starter for the LSU Tigers. It only took 11 pitches to get the Tigers back to the dugout. LSU will bat in this order. Shortstop Stephen Milam, right fielder Jake Brown, center fielder Derek Curiel. Catcher Omar Cerna, he's been really good offensively over the last 5 games. John Pearson follows at third base. Kate Arambidi draws the DH position. Zach York, who had a 2-run single yesterday in the victory, is hitting next. Trent Carraway is at second base for the 2nd straight game. And Chris Stanfield remains in the lineup in left field batting 9th. This is exactly the same lineup that LSU used last night. There is L.J. Mercurius, and he has been just superb so far for Oklahoma this year.
Yeah.
4-1 on the campaign. Look at that ERA, Ronnie.
Has a 1.59 ERA at this point in the season. That's outstanding. This is his 6th start. You're going to see a 92 to 94 mile per hour fastball from the transfer. Excellent command. He's look at the 41 strikeouts and only 8 walks, and then the changeup is a plus pitch. I mean, it's his out pitch. So you got 2 pitchers today, and Mercurius and Moore, who both have plus changeups.
Stephen Milam carries a .241 average to the plate. 5 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer, 13 driven home. Milam is one of those guys, as was the case last year, that will bat in a lot of places in the order. He's hit first, he's hit second, third, he's hit cleanup, he's been in the back half of the order. And of course, he'll bat left-handed against the right-handed pitcher. Strike 1 to Milam.
Well, Oklahoma fans hope that L.J. Mercurius pitches as well as his little brother Xander Mercurius did last night in relief. Last night, his brother saved that Oklahoma bullpen, replaced Camden Johnson, and came in, went 5+ innings, and only gave up 2 runs towards the end of that outing, and that was big for the weekend for the Sooners.
Milam looks at a couple of pitches out of the strike zone. It's 2 balls and a strike. Jake Brown and Derek Curiel will follow. Milam strokes the first pitch on a line into right field. Alec Blair returns the ball to the infield from the patch of sunshine, and Stephen Milam becomes the game's first base runner.
Now that's a good sign for LSU and a better sign for Milam. He was able to get the changeup, and you see it leak back over the middle a little too much and was elevated. A week ago, L.J. Mercurius had his first bobble of the season. He went 5 innings against Texas A&M, gave up 6. He gave up 6 hits in those 5 innings, 6 runs. Only 4 of them were earned. Did punch out 7 and only walked 2, but he gave up 3 home runs in that ball game. Hadn't given up a home run all season until last week against A&M.
Well, speaking of home runs, here's the Tiger with 11 of them.
And that one just missed.
Jake Brown right now is the Triple Crown winner for the Tigers.
There you see his numbers last week against Texas A&M. 4 extra bases hits allowed in those 5 innings. So we'll see how he shakes it off against this LSU lineup.
Brown leads the team with a .391 batting average. He's number 1 with 11 homers. He's number 1 with 37 driven in. LSU's women's basketball team continues to dominate in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They go to the 4th quarter in the Maravich Center across the street. LSU 94, Jacksonville 48. That's deflected off the pitcher. He may have a play. Picks it up, slings it, not in time. Brown hits a wicked shot right back off of the pitcher. Mercurius was able to jump on the ball, but was late with his throw to first base, and they're going to give him a chance to regroup. That'll be a base hit.
Looked like it got him in the hamstring area, so it'll sting, but he'll be okay. That ball was hit sharply, and had he not fielded that ball in, it might have been a double play because they had Brown shifted.
This visit is brought to you by Action Industries.
So he'll stay in the game. They may give him a few pitches to warm up again, test that injury and form. Yesterday, LSU had great success early, Ronnie. Cameron Johnson was chased after an inning and a third. LSU scored 5 runs on just 1 hit. 6 walks and 3 errors contributed to the great generosity of the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yeah, it was a tough outing for the former LSU Tiger lefty Cameron Johnson, who at the time when he signed with LSU and was the highest ranked player ever in the LSU annals as far as signing. And the crazy thing was, he had so many good outings this year. He had a couple of outings where he didn't walk anybody, and it just fell apart last night. I think the old demons of the box, when you get back on a mound where you've had some struggles as a freshman, some familiar surroundings, it just didn't bode well for him.
Curiel is the second leading hitter for the Tigers with a .337 average. Ball 1. He's had 30 hits. That's 6 short of Jake Brown. 18 driven in. 8 extra base hits, 6 doubles, 1 triple, 1 homer. One ball, 1 strike. Milam and Brown have both singled to open the Tigers first. That's there again. 1 and 2 on Derek Curiel.
Mercurius working both parts of the zone. The first one was at the letters high for a strike, and then that one at the lowest region at the bottom. See if he goes change up here after 2 straight fastballs.
Curiel was 2 for 4 yesterday. He had 2 of the 8 hits.
Yeah, he did throw it, but that one was not one of his best.
Cerna had 2 hits yesterday. He's on deck. Curiel cannot pull the trigger on a bell-tie pitch right down the middle.
Yeah, that was an odd at-bat for Curiel. He had struck out on in all 3 strikes. He didn't take the bat off the shoulder. So clearly right here, I think he's picking pitches, right? It looks like he's probably assuming he's going to get something off speed. He got frozen by the heater.
So the runners do not advance, and here is Omar Cerna. Cerna is really coming on offensively. He's been hotter than salsa on sunburn over the course of his last 5 games. How's this for the youngster, Ronnie? Over the last 5 games, 2 homers, 9 driven in, a .368 batting average. He's 7 for 19 over his last 5 games.
Took that pitch right there, change up, down and in.
One of those home runs, of course, was a grand slam.
It's a good sign for LSU that he saw that pitch that well and took it early in the year. He probably would have swung at it.
Cerna hits one very high and very deep to center field. There appears to be room on the warning track, and there is, as Jason Walk makes the catch. Stephen Milam tagged and moved up to third.
Boy,
Cerna came close.
Yeah, you can see it. He's saying that boy just missed it. And he gave it a ride. The wind is blowing out towards center field, so he got a little extra push there. Made it to the warning track, but I mean, he just missed that one by a millimeter.
Cerna was 1 spoonful shy in the Wheaties this morning, and that one coming up a little bit short. It did take Walk to the warning track and then a step beyond. So here we go with Pearson. John Pearson takes a strike. His average is .333. Couple of homers, 6 driven in.
Yeah, Pearson is a fastball hunter. That's why they started him off with that first pitch changeup.
Pearson has started to earn more and more playing time. Runner on first is on the move. They're going to try to get the play at the plate. Here comes a throw, and the ball is waiting for Milam as the Tigers do not execute that successfully. Oklahoma was up to the task, and Milam was nailed easily as LSU tried to get in a pickle play between first and second to allow Milam to score.
Yeah, Milam right here with a slow jump. You got to go right when you see the ball being thrown to second out of the hand, and they didn't get it that time.
It's into the SEC season, but because this league is so strong, every outcome is very important. So this is the way things have changed after yesterday's game. The Sooners lost that game, and so their RPI before the loss was 19. It's 23 now, and the Tigers had a 17-point change.
Yeah, they came in 113 on the weekend and moved up to 96, and they're hoping to jump some more after tonight.
That pop-up in shallow center field is snagged by the second baseman Trent Caraway as Willits goes hunting early.
Just the first time Caraway started at second base this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, last night.
He started there last night?
Here's Dayton LaChance. Now LSU has put the shift on. They've got Caraway back at a normal third base position right now. And Pearson has moved over closer to the bag from his third base position. So the extreme shift is on for LaChance out of Quebec, Canada, with a .338 average right now. This is his 21st start. In this, the 22nd game.
So right now we've got Caraway at third, Milam at shortstop, and then Pearson playing the shortstop position behind the bag. Like, it's so crazy how all the shifting's going on.
Milam from the hole, sets, lets it fly. Oh, what a throw. Right into the chest of York.
Credit the scouting department for that one, right? They had Milam shaded right there. He was playing way in the hole. And you notice after that last out, they don't throw the ball around because all the infielders have to run back across. Milam's now going to second. Caraway went from third over to short. I mean, so they don't throw the ball around the horn after an out like they normally do because the players are running across the diamond.
This brings on Alec Blair from Lafayette, California. They may pronounce it differently out there.
Well, obviously the reason that they do it, and this young man, talented athlete, the reason that they do it is you're trying to get your best defensive gloves lined up on the field wherever the tendency is for them to hit. So that's why you're seeing Milam. You can't see him. He's behind the first. There he is. Now he can see him behind the first baseman as he peeked around Zach. But you're trying to move Milam, who's your best defender, to whatever side of the field, whatever hole the analytics say the ball is going to be hit. And then Caraway is your second best glove out there right now, so that's why they're moving him wherever near Milam is.
That pitch makes it a 2-2 count. A very, very courageous take.
It does look like a ball. You can see the catcher, Omar, move his glove to the left and catch it. Look like maybe 3-4 inches off the plate.
The 2-2 pitch. Check swing, he went around. And the throw down to first base is completed. It's another 1-2-3 inning, including 3 strikeouts so far for Cooper Moore. We are scoreless with LSU coming to the plate in the bottom of the second. And has put his Oklahoma Sooners into the NCAA tournament 75% of the time in his previous 8 seasons. This is year number 9. And the 2022 World Series runner-up. And Jay Johnson, of course, has eclipsed the 200-win mark with a .710 winning percentage at LSU in 5 seasons, 206 and 84 with 2 national championship trophies. This brings on John Pearson. He was left at the plate when LSU tried to steal a run from third with a runner at first as well. L.J. Mercurius was reached for a couple of hits by Milam and Brown to open the inning, but LSU could not get anybody across the plate. That'll work for a strike. 0-2.
Well, these pitchers are very similar, aren't they?
They are.
And their velocity, their demeanor, they both have excellent breaking balls and plus changeups. Velocity is very similar to each other in the low 90s.
This is Pearson's 8th start. He's 7 for 21. Couple of homers, 6 driven in.
He got one to hit there, even though it was 0-2. The heater was right down Nicholson Drive, and he was all over it, just missed it. A little foul tip.
The outfield is deep, and playing Pearson slightly as an opposite field hitter. This one is up in the air, way back. Pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. A shot over the scoreboard. My goodness. You cannot hit a ball harder than that. John Pearson hits one out of sight.
And that ball was a liner out to left field, 390 feet. It was 99 miles an hour off the bat, and it was a mistake changeup. An 0-2 changeup that is above the belt, right down the middle, up at the letters. That was a hanger banger, and he did not miss it.
Home run number 3. 1-0 Tigers.
There's a couple of big right-handers getting hot for LSU. Omar Cerna in the last 5 games with a couple homers, and Pearson as well starting to swing it.
Aaron Beatty has 4 homers, most of those coming very early. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now Now that breaking ball was way short of the plate and took a wicked hop and popped the catcher right in the face. Watch right here. This ball was about a 46-footer.
Three and one. LSU gets another base runner, the first walk of the game, and one of the few walks that L.J. Mercurius has issued this year. That's only his 9th.
That's a little different, you know, when you pitch in Alex Box Stadium for the first time, especially on a Friday night with a packed house. There's a little different nerves. There's a little different energy in your body, and after you give up a home run and the crowd goes crazy, sometimes it's hard to catch your breath and regroup.
Zach York at the plate. The shift is on. He looks like he wants to bunt. He's got room on the left side if he wanted to push one that way. No bunt look that time. York had a 2-run single last night.
Now, the changeup has not been sharp tonight for Mercurius. That's arguably his, second best pitch other than that fastball, and just quite hasn't had the feel.
There was another one.
Yeah, that time a little bit better, but he's had it kind of hung a couple or came up real short on a few. He needs that pitch to maneuver through this LSU lineup.
A call, third strike. York could do nothing except watch that one divide the plate.
Well, after a couple of back-to-back low 80s changeup, he buzzes that outside corner with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball and just spot Steves that ball on the edge.
There's another off-speed pitch to Caraway.
Yeah, a little slider that time. That's how he started Aaron Beatty with a good slider down and away.
Caraway falls behind 2 strikes after that changeup. He started offensively as good as anybody for LSU, but he's tailed back some. He's hitting .254 now. A couple of homers, 15 driven in. And he goes down on another off-speed pitch.
Yeah, Mercurius has found something in these last five, 6 pitches. Look at that slider in a perfect spot down and away. Did not throw a fastball at bat to Caraway.
Here's Chris Stanfield. He was on the shelf for 16 games after hurting himself sliding in the second game of the year. He's come back to hit .269. 3 driven in. From Tallahassee, Florida, by way of Auburn. A liner to right. Aaron Beatty round second. He's on his way to third. He slides without a throw. Stanfield with a sharp line drive single to right. Puts runners on the corners with 2 outs.
Chris Stanfield, who by his own measure is only 85% healthy, that time just inside outs it, able to pull his hands through, and you can see teams are going to pitch him in, right? He's got that left hand still not 100%, so they're going to pitch him in, and that time he did an excellent job getting the barrel inside the baseball.
You can see he puts that brace on.
Yeah, it's not an oven mitt like we've been seeing. It's an actual brace. You can see he's cranking it up, trying to get it tight on there.
Milam at the top of the order. Had a base hit last time. Stee, right. Pearson homered on a ball which may still be rolling. Aaron Beattie walked. A couple of strikeouts of York and Carraway. Stanfield with a single. Runners at first and third. 1-0 Tigers on an impressive home run by John Pearson. Well, the LSU women's basketball team doubled up Jacksonville, winning 116-58.
That means for those that care about the score, they covered. They were a 51.5-point favorite, was LSU over Jacksonville. Wow.
Two balls and a strike, 2 outs. A Tiger at third, another one at first. The last time LSU had runners at first and third with 2 outs, they tried to steal a run by getting the runner at first base in a pickle play, but the relay back to the plate was in plenty of time. This time Stanfield is able to take second base without a throw, and it looked like he wanted to get in a pickle play again. He stopped between first and second, and then seeing no throw, he just scampered back to second base to get the uncontested stolen base.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Lynn. I don't think Aaron Beattie was trying to score from third. I think it was a Stanfield all the way. Just see what happens, make him throw it.
Let's see if the center fielder can get to it. Walk can, and he does. But LSU takes the lead on this swing by John Pearson.
John Pearson has been hot. He's been feeling it. He got a hanging changeup up around the letters and made him pay 390 feet into the night to give LSU a 1-0 lead.
Happy new season, everybody. It's also the spring equinox, which means that the time of daylight and darkness are equal today. It'll start being a little bit more in favor of daylight as we move on toward June 20th. And then the days will start to get shorter again. Nolan Stevens out of Elk Grove, California, steps to the plate. That changeup makes the count 1-1. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for LSU. One of those hits accounted for the run. It was the 3rd home run of the season for this ball is hit off in the left corner. Stays fair. I thought it was going to slice foul, but Stanfield couldn't get to it. And that's going to be a double to lead things off by Stevens as he goes into the left field corner.
And that's the first double of the season for Nolan Stevens, who came into the game with 37 at-bats. Ball just sliced hard. Almost surprised how far that ball carried. Landed at the base of the wall.
And just to continue the thought, it was John Pearson's home run that gave LSU a 1-0 lead. Right now that's in jeopardy because Stevens has put himself in scoring position.
I would expect a bunt here.
Let's see what they do here with Kyle Branch at the plate. He gets the bunt down. It's going to move the runner. The throw to first base is in time, But a sacrifice bunt by Branch moves Stevens to third with only one out.
That's the second sacrifice of the season for Branch. The 8-hole hitter was only batting 184, so that was a pretty easy decision to move the runner to third.
Here's Walk, who's hitting .228. Oklahoma starts with 6 300 hitters, and then it falls off some. 243, 184, and 228 following the first 6 who are over 300.
Oklahoma not a big bunting team, only 4 sacrifice bunts on the season coming into today.
They lead the SEC in the number of walks drawn, and they lead the SEC in stolen bases. There's a really nice off-speed pitch. That arm motion when he's right is imperceptible. You cannot tell when that off-speed is coming.
Foul tip. They're going to get it. Just got a piece of it. A little surprised they didn't try to bunt with Branch here with a runner at third and 1 out. To me, with York over at first, you could have pulled that ball on the ground on the right side, tied the ball game if you're Oklahoma. Instead, they're letting them swing away, and the number 9-hole hitter has got himself in a tough spot here down 0-2.
Cooper Moore desperately wants a strikeout with 1 out and a runner at third. A long stretch, and now to the plate. Lined right through the gap on the left side, and we've got a brand new ball game.
Yeah, that's 2 mistakes by 2 different pitchers tonight that have both led to scores. Both pitchers had 0-2 on the hitter. One gave up a home run. The other gave up an 0-2 hit to the number 9 hitter. Traditionally, when you're 0-2, right, the next pitch is not going to be a strike. It's going to be off the plate, up, down, in the dirt, something like that. Instead, both pitchers grooved it down the middle and paid the price.
So Walk is at first base with an RBI single. That's just his 3rd RBI of the season. He's got a moderate lead. Walk has stolen 9 bases. They've got 4 players who have double-figure base stealing totals right now. Camden Johnson leads the team with 18 stolen bases, and he's been caught only once. So you've got to play heads-up baseball when Oklahoma gets on base. Look at the SEC ranks in walks and stolen bases. Number 1 in both.
That's impressive. That's 66 stolen bases. To put that in perspective, LSU only has 22 stolen bases on the year.
1/3 the amount. A double, a sacrifice bunt, and an RBI single by Jason Walk have tied the game. Gamble representing the top of the order at the plate with a count of 1-1, 1 out, 1 on. He hit a 1-hopper back to Moore last time. That's chopped foul past York. Curiel on his horse. Can he get there? Yes, he can. Derek Curiel, sprinting as fast as he could go to his left, leads his feet and makes the catch.
Wow, what a play, because that ball was smoked. It was 105 miles per hour off the bat of Trey Gamble, arguably their best hitter. And look at the ground he covers. Had it all the way, Lynn.
He covered more ground than pine pollen getting to that ball. He is a pleasure to watch in center field.
That was a big-time play. You know, it could have, LSU is blessed with that outfield, right? Stanfield, who's in left, he was a starting center fielder last year in this national championship team. They switch him this season. So, I mean, if anything were to go down and happen in center, you got a guy right there that is as good as anybody defensively. And then, of course, Jake Brown over in right field as a guy also that could easily play center field if need be.
Stanfield in left, Curriell in center, Brown in right, Pearson at third, Milam is at shortstop, Caraway at second base for the second straight night. York at first, and Cerna is catching. Camden Johnson now is ready. The shift is on. Pearson is playing normal position at third. The other infielders are deep between first and second. The outfield plays this young man as an opposite field hitter, and pretty deep. Johnson is batting .333. 2 home runs. Brock is the leading home run hitter in the lineup tonight with 6 for the Sooners. The runner moving, the throw down, safe.
Oh, what a nifty slide by Jason Walk. This, by the way, is Walk's 10th stolen base in 12 attempts this season.
If this throw would have been on the other side of the bag, they might have had a chance to get him.
No, they would have. But it was a little off, and Walk did a nice job avoiding the tag to make it close. And another heads-up play. Red ball in the dirt. Did an excellent job right there, Lynn, did Walk. He did not wait for the ball to hit off the chest of Cerna and bounce away. As soon as he saw the ball going towards the dirt, he took off, and that's why he made it easily.
And a bit of a risky move, considering there are 2 outs. And it's very likely he would score from second base on any kind of a base hit.
It's not risky if you steal a bag with no throw, and that's what he did. If you're going to steal third with 2 outs, you got to do it to where the catcher doesn't throw it.
So Oklahoma using its base path speed, trying to take the lead here. The shift remains on. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Skip Johnson taking a page out of Jay Johnson, calling that timeout to talk to his hitter.
Caraway is there, or is that Milam? I think that's Milam. Shifted way over. It was Milam. But Oklahoma comes back and ties it 1 apiece as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. It was a gorgeous first day of spring here in Baton Rouge. A lovely nighttime is following. We are in the gloaming here at Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. Ronnie Ranch, Lynn Rollins with you. Our pleasure to be coming into your living rooms or sports bars, or perhaps you're grilling burgers on the deck, maybe waiting in one of those terribly long lines at an airport. Wherever you may be enjoying LSU Oklahoma baseball, we thank you for joining us. LSU's leading home run producer, Jake Brown, will lead it off, followed by Curriell and Cerna. Strike one from L.J. Mercurius. LSU has reached him for 4 hits. 1 walk, a couple of strikeouts. Brown sends one deep to center field. Walk is back at the wall. Did he make that catch? He did. Remarkable. A tumbling headfirst collision into the center field wall at the 4:05 mark, and Jason Walk has taken an extra base hit away from Jake Brown with a tremendous effort in center field.
This is one of the best plays you're going to see in the SEC this week. Leaves his feet, and you know that's a difficult play for the visiting team because you don't necessarily know the landscape. You know, you don't have the feel. You're not used to playing in the environment. You don't necessarily know how many steps to the wall, and so he went in there and full board made a great catch.
We've seen each center fielder turn in a 24-karat gold catch so far. Here's the other center fielder we're talking about, Derek Curiel. He goes the other way and slices one deep into the left field corner. It is hooking and fading and foul. Curiel was frozen by a pitch and did not take the bat off his shoulder in the first inning. LSU 1, Oklahoma 1. This is the middle game of the series. Tomorrow's action comes right here on the SEC ESPN network. It starts at 2 o'clock Central Time. Now the count is even at 2. A lazy wind continues to blow out toward center field. That's mostly out of the north. Curiel hits it sharply, and that's a fine play on the right side. Four 3 on the putout. Now Omar Cerna comes to the plate. He flied to center field last time and hit the ball well. The infield plays him to pull. The outfield plays him as an opposite field hitter. There's a big gap in left center and another alley down the left field line. There's the off speed, and it floats in. We're in the bottom of the third, a 1-1 ball game. Steve, right.
Now Mercurius looks like he's definitely settled down a little bit, Lynn, and spotting up all of his pitches.
That's a call, third strike. And the third of the game for Mercurius as Curiel for the second time. Oh, excuse me. Cerna called out on strikes. He's 0 for 2. We've got a 1-1 game.
With some former players, including myself, guys like Doug Thompson, Kurt Ainsworth, Will Harris, Mike Papajohn, many, many others. were there, and always an annual event. Probably been doing it about 5 or 6 years. Once a year, the dads of some of the players will get together with Coach Bertman and some former players, and it was a blast.
Is there a Hall of Fame for which he is eligible that he's not in?
No, he's in them all. College Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in the University of Miami Hall of Fame. He's going to have a ballpark named after him at his old high school that he coached at Miami Beach High. It's going to bear his name.
That's perfectly placed defense by LSU's Caraway. He did not have to move to take the line drive.
I mean, they have so much information. I mean, look at him right there. Literally did not take a step. Just squatted down, made sure to catch it before it hit the ground. But they've got earpieces. They've got cards that are laminated in the back pocket that tell them where to stand, where to be for each hitter. It's incredible. When I played, we just had Coach Bertman yell, "Hey, Johnson, 2 steps to your left." You know, that was about it.
Did he ever yell out, bunt, steal?
Sometimes, look, Milan's got the earpiece, and I think there's going to come a time at some point in the future where fans at home are going to be able to listen to what's going on in the earpiece, kind of like NASCAR.
Yeah.
Where you can hear the pit crew and IndyCar and all that kind of stuff. I think people would pay a premium to be able to hear what the coaches are saying.
The 1-2 pitch, nubbed foul off the cap of the bat. Willits popped up to the second baseman last time. Willits is off to a very good start in conference play. He's hitting well over 400. Nobody can get to this. It bounds into center field. So Willits, after the line out, singles up the middle. That took about 3 bounces to get to the outfield grass. He's on with 1 out.
Cooper Moore went with a slow curve that Willits just bounded on the ground. They kind of had Milan shifted a little bit more towards third base than the middle, so he had no chance to get to it.
Oklahoma in week number 1 in SEC play took 2 out of 3 against Texas A&M, winning 8-7, losing 9-5, and then winning 12-11, and then was shut out last Tuesday at Southeastern Louisiana, 3-0. A huge win for the Lions over the nationally ranked Sooners. So the Sooners had lost 3 of their last 4, and there's a ground ball sharply struck through the middle. Runner at first is going to make third easily. Brown's throw is cut off at second base. Back-to-back base hits, and trouble brewing now for the Tigers as Oklahoma starting to get together offensively.
Well, that was a situation where the analytics worked against LSU as LaChance actually hit that ball kind of where the second baseman would normally play, but because they had him shifted up the middle, because that's what the tendency said, there was a void there, and now Oklahoma's got something brewing.
So Willits is at third. He was just singled there by LaChance. 2 hits last inning for Oklahoma, and 2 in this inning as well. The ball gets away, and Oklahoma scores without a play at the plate. That's a wild pitch. Cooper Moore getting further in trouble of his own making now as he uncorks a wild pitch.
Credit Willits does well at third base. He did not hesitate. He read this one nicely. Sometimes, you know, guys might hold up on that ball. He did not at all and scored easily.
Oklahoma will stay on the road in its next SEC series. It will be at Texas on the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th.
There you see last season in the entire year, 23 wild pitches.
This year, 32 wild pitches in 23 games. Blair brings a hefty average to the plate, 341. He struck out his first time. He did not swing. Blair was 1 for 4 yesterday. LSU had a 5-0 lead after a couple of innings and won it 7-1. Three balls and a strike. There is warm-up activity. It looks like a left-hander in the bullpen for the Tigers.
That's Cooper Williams that's up tossing.
The pitch, dribbled foul at the plate.
That was a little oucher as the freshman Alec Blair fouled that off his ankle. 6'6" outfielder out of De La Salle High School in Concord, California.
Caraway backs up, takes the chest high hop, and gets the out at first.
At the plate for Oklahoma, designated hitter, Nolan Stevens.
Nolan Stevens sliced an opposite field double last time and scored. 2 outs and LaChance at third base.
This time around, Oklahoma doing a nice job of taking those close pitches.
That one's on the knees for a strike.
Nolan Stevens out of Elk Grove, California. Previously was at Mississippi State. He stayed in the SEC.
That Bender drops in for a strike.
Upper region right down the middle, froze him a little bit. Last year, Stevens hit .320 at Mississippi State in 28 starts, 37 games played.
So basically a halftime player last year, right?
Yeah.
The 2-2 pitch, 2 outs, a runner at third. He struck him out with an off-speed pitch. And a big strikeout recorded by Moore. That's his 4th. But Oklahoma has scored in back-to-back innings, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, to overcome LSU's run in the 2nd. It's 2-1 Sooners over the Tigers. Has 4 hits. Oklahoma has back-to-back innings in which they have picked up a run. And a 2-1 lead right now for the Sooners in the middle game of this 3-game SEC series. LSU softball team is at South Carolina, and it's the bottom of the 7th inning in a 5-5 game, so South Carolina can win it if they score. But right now, 5-5 in the 7th. LSU would love to take that game into extra innings. Here's John Pearson. He hit one out of sight, literally, last time up.
Yeah, Pearson is and limited at bats has raised his average to 364 with 3 home runs.
He goes the other way this time with some authority. It is fading away from the right fielder, but the catch is made out there by Alec Blair. Well hit again by Pearson, but Blair able to track it down going to his left.
Yeah, 3 home runs on the year for John Pearson and only 22 at bats. That's pretty good.
Aaron Beatty comes to the plate with the bases empty. He walked last time following Pearson's homer. Steve Reich on the outside edge. That one blistered the corner.
And that's the thing about L.J. Mercurius, is that he really does a nice job of moving the fastball in and out.
He tried to go back inside, missed it high.
He's really done a nice job of staying on that outside portion to right-handed hitters. There it is again. That one he didn't get the call that time.
This is popped up. Brock, the catcher, is calling for it, and he makes a nice play. He started back, and then he had to move up the third baseline. That's not an easy play by any means, and he stayed with it.
Aaron Beatty really chased one out of the zone that time. That ball was up and in, but this is a tough play for a catcher. But you see, there's the pitcher right there. And I always wondered why, at what point in life did there somebody that randomly decide that pitchers cannot catch pop flies?
When did you play?
I mean, I was the guy that wanted to catch it all the time, Lynn. I don't understand it. Like the pitcher has a better angle moving forward. The catcher's got to throw the mask, spin around, become a ballerina to make a catch when you can just run 30 feet in and catch it.
No argument here.
Somewhere back 150 years when the game was invented, somebody said, no. The last person we want to catch the ball is the pitcher. Watch right here. Watch Mercurius. He's right there. He sees it all the way. He could have easily caught that ball. Instead, okay, we're going to let the catcher back up and run sideways and turn around and try to find the ball.
I do like the fact that Mercurius was close enough to maybe get a deflection if needed.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what York can do. He struck out last time. One and one. Now this is the shift personified for York. I'm surprised they don't bring the left fielder in to put him on that right side as well.
Well, Mercurius he has just gotten better as the game's going on. I mean, when he misses, he is all over the corners. Again, in and out. He's either going to get the strike, or if it's going to be a ball, it's going to be just off the corner. That time he leaked it back a little bit more than he wanted, but he has been painting here lately.
York goes down on strikes for the second time, a 1-2-3 inning. And after 4 full frames Oklahoma leads LSU. It's 2-1. It's much more accurate and is accurate. Last season in 68 games, LSU threw 67 wild pitches, 1 per game. This year, the Tigers are at 1.4 per game with a total of 32.
And you know, it seems like maybe not that big of a deal to be a half a wild pitch more per game, but that is. And even worse than that, I think LSU they've had a lot of balls bounce out of the glove. Sometimes the catchers this year have struggled a little bit at some of the frame jobs that they've done, and that's an aspect of the game that LSU can improve on. And a part of why they had the worst ERA of any team in the SEC coming into this weekend. Some of it's been the struggles with the wild pitches and pass balls.
Kyle Branch looks at a ball that bounces off to the left side. He's from Lucas, Texas. 0 for 2 yesterday.
If you're a pitching coach and you see more bounce a fastball in the first pitch, 89 short of the plate, that'll get the bullpen going. And Cooper Williams is hot, and we might be getting checked. Jay Johnson may have seen something here. This is not good if there's something wrong with Cooper Moore.
Just for the moment, it gives us an opportunity to bring you up to date on softball. They've gone to the top of the 8th inning. LSU and South Carolina tied at 5. So extra innings in the first game of that series.
I mean, this does not look good. Cooper Moore's covering his mouth. He's talking directly to the trainer. And then you saw Jay Johnson on the walkie-talkie telling them to get the bullpen going. And this is the last thing you want to see happen if you're an LSU Tiger.
We obviously know not what the discomfort is all about at this point.
All right, we're trying to just see, you know, if we can tell what happened.
He short arms it very much. You could tell that was an awkward delivery.
What I was trying to see if he looked at the dugout after he threw or signaled them out to the mound. He couldn't really tell from what we had right there on that angle. But clearly Jay Johnson saw something. And look, you can see he's pointing to the back of the elbow there near the forearm. This is not good news. We'll hope for the best. That sometimes you feel a little discomfort. Okay, watch here. He comes up short, spikes that fastball. That's not a good sign. That just kind of sometimes tells you the pitcher's a little tired, maybe nearing the end of the rope. And from right there, that didn't look like much. You know, you couldn't really see any wincing or flexing or anything right there to speak of, but.
And we'll take a pitching change timeout right here, as it is impossible for Cooper Moore to continue after some sort of undiagnosed injury at this point. Cooper Moore yields the ball to Cooper Williams, who has come out of the bullpen after the LSU starter. Cooper Moore evidently suffered some sort of injury. He's unable to continue, and obviously very disappointed with the look on his face. But right now, an undiagnosed injury. We'll wait for any word that we potentially can get before the end of the game.
Boy, he was throwing well too. You know, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and that's a big disappointment because he is one of their main guys. And now Cooper Williams, who had a really good preseason lead up to the season, Was throwing the ball exceptionally well in January and February, but has not gotten off to the start that he would like. You see through 9 appearances so far, he's got a 9.35 earned run average. He does have a number of strikeouts, 14 punchies in 8 2/3 innings, but has walked 6. And now they really need the Cooper Williams of all those inter-squad games where he was dominating LSU hitters leading up to the season. They need that guy in a big way here tonight.
Well, the 13 base runners he's allowed via walk or base hit in those few innings has been a problem. Let's see what he does here with the bases empty and a count of 1-0 on Branch. The pitch just misses. Branch had a sacrifice bunt last time. Moore has missed twice. It's 3-0. Excuse me, Cooper Williams. Williams to the plate.
Oh, that should have been a strike. I think if Omar Cerner catches that ball, it's a strike there. Again, part of the struggles that they've had with the wild pitches and the pass balls this year.
Here's Jason Walk. He has contributed offensively and defensively tonight. Walk had an RBI single in his only at bat. He's got Branch at first base with nobody out.
Branch only 1 stolen base on the year, 1 for 1.
Walk was 1 for 3 last night. Branch takes a moderate lead. Cooper Williams to the plate. A bender catches the inside part of the plate. Walk is out of Ackworth, Georgia. 241 hitter at the moment. 3 driven in.
One of 2 switch hitters that Oklahoma has in its lineup. Jackson Willits and Jason Walk, both switchers.
Let's go back and look what Jason Walk did defensively.
Now this is worth probably a run here. 405 feet away, crashed into that wall and held on. Cooper Williams ahead in the count, trying to see if he can get that breaking ball over, maybe get himself a double play.
Each team has 4 hits. Milam charges it and slings it over, out on a close play at first. Branch advances 90 feet. Walk is thrown out 6-3. Branch is in scoring position for the top of the order in Trey Gamble.
LSU now in their 24th game of the year, and Stephen Milam has yet to make an error. Whether he's played short or they lined him up at second or wherever it is, doesn't matter. Grass, dirt, he can field them all.
Gamble is 0 for 2. He was robbed of an extra base hit on a diving catch by Curiel his last time. The 0-1. Steve right. A base hit that's going to find grass in left field. Oklahoma will get another run out of it. Trey Gamble goes the other way and sends it deep enough down the left side to score Branch from second base. And after trailing 1-0, Oklahoma has come fighting back to score 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth.
Now Gamble hit the ball extremely hard his last time up and got robbed by Curiel. This time said, I'm going to stay away from center field, and shot the ball out to left field, squared it up, elevated fastball, and a really nice piece of hitting. That's now RBI number 18 on the year for Gamble. And a speedy base runner at that, a guy who's not afraid to go. He's got double-digit stolen bases, has yet to be thrown out this season.
He does not. Breaking pitch works its way over to Camden Johnson.
Well, you don't really have to have a big lead if you're going to steal off a left-handed pitcher, because you're going to go on first movement. So you can be conservative because you're not reading anything.
Johnson has struck out and grounded out. He takes a long wave at it but can't find it. 3 runs, 5 hits for Oklahoma, 1 run, 4 hits for LSU. Runner is on the move. That pitch is way out of the reach of Cerna.
There's another wild pitch in the column.
That probably will be a stolen base. He was moving on the play.
Camden Johnson at the plate, Lynn, comes here. Here, take a look at this. This is a non-ball, meaning the hitter doesn't even have to think about whether it's a strike or not. Even to swing, that ball was so far outside. Looked like he may have slipped on the mound.
They get the out at first. Well, they have ruled a wild pitch. I think upon further review that could be changed, but that's what we'll put right now. The runner was moving on the play. So if he's in motion, you assume the stolen base.
So the wild pitch. Wow. Yeah, you get a stolen base.
Yeah. They did change it to a stolen base.
They did change it, right.
The runner was moving on the play. Well, another call has been made to the bullpen. Jay Johnson wants a right-hander. And we will be back to get you up to date as LSU trails 3-1. LSU goes to the bullpen for the second time. This is Maverick Rizzi, a 6'9", strapping 251 pounds from Fiskdale, Massachusetts. No record, an ERA of 2.63, 13 2/3 innings. It's been busy. This is his 11th appearance.
He pitched an inning on Tuesday against Grambling, struck out all 3 batters he faced. But it was the way he pitched on Tuesday was the best performance of the year. He was electric with the fastball, 96, 97. But the command of all of his pitches were there with the nice run and everything. And didn't walk anybody, struck out the only 3 batters he faced.
If you've just joined us, Cooper Moore, the starter, was lifted after suffering some sort of discomfort, perhaps some sort of injury, but threw a pitch that came up short, and he was lifted 3 batters ago.
It was the first pitch of the 5th inning. Cooper Moore bounced an 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Jay Johnson and the trainer saw something, went to the mound, and made a pitching change.
That was Cooper Williams. He pitched to 3 batters. And now it's Rizzi. Rizzi inherits a runner at third base with 2 outs. The infield is at standard position. Brendan Brock watches Rizzi miss outside. 2-0. Now it's 3-0. First base is open. And Rizzi works in a fastball. Willits is on deck. 2 outs, a runner at third. Rizzi induces a foul ball into the screen in the right field corner. And we go to a full count. Strike 3. Rizzi on the outer part of the plate in the upper part of the zone takes care of business as Brock goes down on strikes. Oklahoma 3, LSU 1.
The dominance, right, Lynn, of the league.
There's a big series starting in Auburn with Texas and Auburn, 2 teams who pitch it well.
Yeah, both of them have team ERAs in the mid-2s.
Meanwhile, this young man, after a bit of a shaky start, has certainly found his rhythm. L.J. Mercurius came in with an ERA of right around 1.5 and a 4-1 record.
And there you see the line has the 1 walk. And really the only run LSU scored was a mistake. Hung a changeup on an 0-2 count to John Pearson, who hit his 3rd homer over the bleachers and left. Here's a pinch hitter.
Tanner Reeves is at the plate. He lofts one down the left field line in foul territory, and it's gathered by the third baseman Johnson. So Reeves batting for Caraway. Fouls out to the third baseman, and this bring on Stanfield. Very likely we'll see Reeves remain in the game at an infield position.
Stanfield last time up had a base hit to right field. They tried to pitch him in, and he pulled those hands through and hit a liner the other way.
Mercurius starts him with a strike. LSU's lead on the home run in the 2nd inning was short-lived because Oklahoma has scored single markers in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That is in the bleachers. And a man from Bruley is going to go home with a souvenir. Stanfield waits, trying to become a base runner, get the tying run to the plate potentially. Chris is still at the point, because of his limited duty this year due to the injury, is at the point where a base hit or an 0 for game wildly distorts the batting average. He's at 296 right now and steps away from that as he swings and misses it.
I mean, Mercurio's in the rocking chair right now.
He is. He really is.
I mean, he's got everything working. That last pitch to Stanfield was a breaking ball, tight slider down and away to the hitter. I mean, he's not even breaking a sweat right now.
It's been averaging roughly 15, 16 pitches an inning. The pitch to Milam clips the inside corner. Stevens' average has fallen to 247. That's well struck. And look at that play on the right side of the infield. That ball was well hit. The backhanded play. That was Branch lined up at second base.
I mean, Oklahoma's feeling it right now. Mercurial throwing strikes, and with some defense like that, that leather being flashed by their second baseman, Kyle Branch, Oklahoma up 3-1 on the Tigers.
3-1, 5 hits for Oklahoma, 4 for LSU. We play in the top of the 6th inning.
One defensive change. The Tigers have left second base, number 32, Jack Ruckert. Ruckert is second base.
Ruckert has gone in at second base. Reeves pinch hit for the second baseman, Caraway. And now Ruckert is in at second base. We've got other scores to pass along in this second weekend of SEC play. Top of the 8th inning, Missouri is leading Tennessee 8-4. Top of the 7th inning, Georgia 5, Texas A&M 2. Arkansas is walloping South Carolina. It's 20-4 in the bottom of the 5th.
Wow.
That's averaging 4 runs an inning.
Tough year for the Gamecocks and former LSU Tiger coach Paul Maneri.
Alabama leads Florida 6-0. That's in the bottom of the 7th. Texas won, Auburn won. Well pitched as we thought it might be. That game is in the top of the 8th inning. Stanfield coming hard, can't get it. That bounces a good distance in front of him, and a base hit to open the inning for Oklahoma, which has applied pressure in many, many consecutive innings now.
6 hits now in the ball game for the Sooners, and just just a battle up there at the plate. Just a little piece of it. Willits was able to shoot it out to left.
Kentucky is shutting out Ole Miss. It's in the top of the 6th inning, 3-0 in Oxford. And Mississippi State is at home tonight against Vanderbilt, leading in the top of the 4th inning 4-1. You're up to date in the SEC. They've moved into the 9th inning in LSU South Carolina softball, opening game of that series, 5 apiece. And if you missed the LSU Jacksonville women's basketball first round NCAA playoff game, LSU scored 444 points and won that one. Actually, it was a 2-1, what, 116-58, I think.
That's correct.
Rizzi with a bit of an off-speed pitch that time. And that had the batter lunging for it. Dayton LeChance. Willits, who is 2 for 3, is at first base after a leadoff single. He's got a very short lead. Rizzi just misses. LSU has been held to just 4 hits. One of them was the long home run by John Pearson, his 3rd of the year. Rizzi misses in the same place. Let's check the runner. It's a 3-2 count. Willits is not going, and we'll do it again.
Rizzi went, instead of the 97-mile-an-hour fastball, went with the breaking ball. Willits able to fight it off.
Well, they've gone to the 10th inning with LSU and South Carolina softball, 5 apiece. LaChance just got a small sliver of that, and the count remains 3-2.
Well, LaChance right there fighting, and obviously the fans, the ball went right at him. He's telling her, you know, I could have made that play. LaChance, though, did chase one out of the zone. That was a 3-2 breaker that was off the plate, and he just got a piece of it.
Ooh. LaChance had to hit the deck. Runners at first and second. LSU just never has really gotten into a rhythm in this game.
That's the 8th walk of the season for Rizzi to go along with 5 hit batters and just over 14 innings of work. And I'm not sure if Jay Johnson's going to stick around. He does have some bullpen activity. He's got Santiago Garcia, the lefty.
He's going to make the call, and I think he wants a right-hander. So we will take a pitching change timeout and be right back. Garcia is going to come out of that gate. Well, we've had a change of plans during the timeout. Ronnie, it's not Santiago Garcia. It's somebody else.
Yeah, it's Fontenot's coming into the ball game. I think there was some confusion originally. Here's Jay Johnson walking out to the mound. He signals for a pitching change. If you hold up the left hand, it's going to be Garcia. The right hand, it's going to be Fontenot. And he says right-hander. You see him yell and hold up the right hand. Now I'm not saying the umpire messed up. LSU ran the wrong guy out of the bullpen, so Garcia ran all the way to the dirt. Jay Johnson met him at the dirt, said no to the umpire, I don't want him, I want the right-hander. And so they changed it up. So we'll get a chance to see all of Fontenot's warm-up pitches.
So it's Grant Fontenot, 6'3", 225-pounder from Lafayette. He's a senior, no record, 3.38 ERA. Only 5 1/3 innings in this, his 7th appearance. He's allowed 10 hits. He has struck out 7 and walked 3.
Yeah, Grant Fontenot, fastball going to be mid-90s. Guy, big, strong right-hander. 5 1/3 innings so far this season. Does have the strikeout, but he's given up a lot of hits. Lafayette, Louisiana, Lafayette High School, came to LSU, then transferred to Texas, and then back to Baton Rouge.
Well, the Tigers remain in striking distance. They're only 2 back. So it's up to Fontenot to draw a line in the sand.
Yeah, there you see Oklahoma assistant coach, head of recruiting, Coach Todd Butler right there in the dugout. Coach Todd Butler with some Louisiana ties. His mom's from watching over in Sulphur. She's a big LSU fan, don't tell anybody, over in Oklahoma. But Todd Butler was a former assistant coach at Alabama under Jim Wells, a former head coach at McNeese over in Lake Charles, head coach at Wichita State. This is, I think, his 29th season in coaching. And his daughter graduated from LSU like a year ago in business administration.
He's not often without a grin on his face.
No, he's a good personality, been a long-time friend, and great baseball man.
So we get back to play with Fontenot working against Alec Blair.
You know, Coach Butler's a good guy for you to know, Lynn. He knows all the great spots to eat. He was an assistant at Missouri, assistant at Arkansas, assistant at Alabama, now Oklahoma. Knows Baton Rouge well. I mean, he's going to tell you all the good spots.
That bunt is pushed foul. I'm kind of a dollar menu guy these days.
Waffle House? You ever do a stop on the way?
No.
You're driving?
No.
Huh?
Maybe an icy at Buc-ee's. Well, the Tigers are all over the place defensively. They had York retreating and then charging. They had Rucker, the second baseman, rolling over to cover first.
LSU was crashing on the bunt.
There's a quick strike. Fontenot has always had the ability to throw it hard.
Yeah, big, strong guy. Had an arm injury right out of high school, had surgery when he came to LSU, redshirted, and then he's healthy now. Little backdoor slider for the big punch out. 97 with the fastball, pulls the string. 87 and a big K when LSU needed it most. That was on the outside edge. Good location.
Out number one. The runners hold their ground at second and first. Nolan Stevens has doubled and struck out. Six hits for the Sooners. LSU has been held to 4. That's there for a quick strike. LSU has not had a hit since the second inning. Fontenot misses outside. Oklahoma is 17-5 on the year. They have divided 4 SEC games. They took 2 out of 3 against Texas A&M before losing last night to LSU. The Tigers dropped their first 2 games at Vanderbilt before winning the 3rd game and got the 7-1 victory yesterday against this Oklahoma team. They too are a pair in the win column and a pair in the loss column early in the SEC. 2-2 pitch. Right back to Fontenot. He gets the out at first. The runners advance, but there are now 2 outs.
Well, nice play by Fontenot, but if he catches this ball cleanly, there's a good chance he's going to try to turn 2. And it was hit sharply enough where maybe they could have. Watch right here. Comebacker. Ooh. Yeah, I think they definitely would have been able to throw to second had he snagged it, but instead he knocked it down and got the 1. And now we're going to have a mound visit by LSU pitching coach Nate Yeske.
The inning started when Willits singled. LaChance walked. Blair struck out.
So look, I don't remember seeing York having an earpiece. I mean, if he, until now. I mean, I don't know if maybe he had one and he just had it hidden real well. But I think Milam playing 23 games without an error. All of a sudden, other guys are like, you know what? I need the earpiece too. I wonder who's in charge of, what they hear and all that kind of stuff. You wonder if somebody plays a practical joke and says a joke while they're listening, or maybe plays a song.
Kyle Branch, who turned in a superb defensive play at second base earlier, takes a quick strike, 2 outs, 2 in scoring position.
That last fastball was 99 by Fontenot. There's another one. Back-to-back 99-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Branch has a sacrifice bunt. He has walked and scored. Cerna circling, and that's dropped. John Pearson came on, called Cerna off, which was the right play, but the ball got into the glove before Pearson was ready for it.
Now let's see if LSU can overcome this. Pearson does the right deal. That's his ball, but for some reason he went with the basket catch, trying to go Willie Mays instead of catching it over his head.
That's an error on Pearson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3. He cauterizes the outside corner and gets LSU back to the dugout.
A 99-mile-an-hour fastball by Fontenot. Excellent frame by Omar Cerna, and he gets him out of a big jam.
Oklahoma 3, LSU 1. Both of these teams have had a reversal in fortunes tonight. The Sooners started 0 for 8 at the plate. Since then, they are 6 for 15. The Tigers started 4 for 9, and since then, they are 0 for 9.
Yeah, that is a complete reversal of fortune by these two teams, and I don't know if LSU's going to get any better while L.J. Mercurius is in the ball game, because he has been sensational.
I think he's had 1 complete game this year. Is that what you're showing?
He pitched 7 innings. Let me see here. Let me pull him up.
Let's see what Jake Brown can do.
The longest he's gone is 7 innings. He went 7 innings against Gonzaga. Gave up 1 hit, 1 run, not even earned. Struck out 9, walked 1. That was his back on February the 28th.
Was that a 7-inning game?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let me go look and see. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So they gave him a complete game on that one.
They won 11-1 over Gonzaga. They went 7 innings. He only threw 91 pitches in that ball game.
Brown draws a quick base on balls. That was the 78th pitch tonight, making the 79th.
And we've got double barrel action down in the Oklahoma bullpen. So that was a big walk for LSU.
Well, this is what the Tigers need, mainly base runners. This brings the tying run to the plate every time there's somebody on base for LSU. Here's Curiel. He's 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out to the second baseman. He got locked up in his first at bat and did not take the bat off his shoulder. There's a strike. Curiel chokes up maybe a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. They've gone to the 11th inning at South Carolina. LSU and South Carolina in softball tied at 5 in the 11th inning. The 0-2 pitch to Derek Curiel. Brown, who was only 2.5 steps away from the bag, easily makes it back. Curiel has played deep and is somewhat of an opposite field hitter, especially by walk in center field.
Really surprised they're picking off so much over there with Brown. LSU trailing by 2 runs.
I don't think Brown is going to be put in motion, although he is a capable base stealer.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of only a couple of base stealers. He's 7 of 8 in stolen bases, and
This man is in brought to you by LSU Distributors.
Oklahoma wants to talk about it.
now there's some confusion because Skip Johnson went to the mound. He looked over to the umpire at third base and made some sort of hand gesture, and the umpire at third assumed he was making a pitching change, and the umpire kept asking, hey, left or right, and then as it turns out, he didn't. Watch right here. Watch Skip Johnson. He's going to turn to his left. He does some kind of hand thing like a timeout, walking to the mound, but the third base umpire thought he was signaling a reliever.
Curiel waits. The 1-2 pitch is high, 2-2. Brown at first base. The crowd trying to energize the Tigers offensively. The 2-2 pitch. Tight. Brown is on his way. Safe. He got under the tag.
Now they're gonna check it. They're gonna ask for a.
This will be the first review of the game if it indeed comes to fruition.
He asked. Yeah, they're gonna officially signal it because Jackson Willits immediately after applying the tag.
Oklahoma is challenging the ruling on the field unsafe at second base.
Willits immediately signaled to the coaches to challenge it.
So the review panel in Birmingham will be taking a look at this one.
This game review brought to you by Acme Emotion Events.
I think it's going to be upheld. I think he is safe. Very, very close, but I think he got there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's enough there to overturn anything. That was big time heads up base running too. That's his 8th stolen base, which leads the team.
So how about this? You lead in home runs, you lead in RBI, you lead in batting average, and you also lead in stolen bases.
He'd be 5th on the Oklahoma team in stolen bases, but that's how much they run.
Why do you always throw battery acid on what I say? I'm trying to give the man, a triple crown.
I'm just pointing out that LSU doesn't run a whole bunch.
No doubt, no doubt. This is the Hawkeye look, frame by frame.
I don't think you can see anything right there. It's kind of blocked out. The main thing is that right hand. Well, was that right hand on the bag the whole time? Because on the left hand,
we wait as they examine this in Birmingham.
here's a different angle. Okay, so the oven mitt is sliding in there, but then he's going to reach the bag and tag it with his right hand. And so he's touching the bag. Now the key is,
here we go.
Oklahoma has 1 challenge remaining. The runner remains safe.
So the challenge is not upheld.
I feel like he initially touched the bag with the right hand safe, and then the oven mitt came on with the left before the right hand came off the bag.
Now Curiel has an RBI opportunity. LSU trails by 2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. He struck him out for the second time. And he chased what may have been a high pitch.
Yeah, it did look like that ball might have been up in the zone, and that's going to be the final pitch of the night for L.J. Mercurius, who is going to leave this ball game with the lead after an outstanding performance here in Baton Rouge.
5 1/3 innings tonight. And Ronnie, as you mentioned, he really settled in after the first couple of frames.
Yeah, I mean, look, maybe the heartbeat was a little fast there in the second inning, but then he hit his stride, and you can see why he came in with an ERA of 1.59. He lived up to the billing for sure.
He has not allowed a hit since the second inning. And we will come back in a moment as we take a pitching change timeout. Oklahoma 3, LSU 1. Jason Bowden has replaced starter L.J. Mercurius. Bowden is a junior from Orange, Texas. This is his 8th appearance. He's 3-0. 16 strikeouts in 13 1/3 innings, only 5 walks and just 7 hits with an ERA of 3.38.
Yeah, he pitched twice last weekend against Texas A&M for a total of 4 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, had 5 strikeouts, only 1 walk. A&M hit 133 against him in those 4 1/3 innings.
Cerna at the plate.
Having trouble with his communication device in his hat.
And I think the third baseman let him borrow his equipment for a while. This is a big moment for the Tigers. It's a big moment for Cerna. That's a slider. It dives in nicely.
Yeah,
1 ball, 1 strike.
As you pointed out, Cerna has been hot the last couple of 5 games, batting over 300 with a couple homers.
He hits it sharply and finds the hole on the left side. Brown rounds third. There will be no relay throw. Cerna comes through. The Tigers have pulled within 1. The youngster rising to the occasion over the last 6 games, coming on strong offensively for LSU.
Yeah, they definitely liked his bat and knew that he was going to be a good hitter for the Tigers, and he may have kind of found some confidence. Nice read by Jake Brown. Read it perfectly. He froze, made sure it was through the infield, and then he went, turned on the jets, and scored easily.
Here's John Pearson. 1 out, 1 on, 1 in. A 1-run game. Oklahoma leads 3-2. Brock had to go well to his right to stab that one. Two and 0. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Sooners. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Tigers. That's there for a strike. Jason Bowden to the plate. Fouled off. Let's go back and look at the home run swing by John Pearson.
Now there was a changeup. I mean, that thing is up by his shoulders, and it was already elevated, and he just applied the pressure to it, put the barrel to the ball, and that went 390 over the wall and left.
That time he could not find a big bender. That ball just kept working its way away from the swing. That's a heck of a breaking pitch.
Take a peek here at Bowden. That little 3/4 sidearm sweeper slider. That is filthy.
Arambidi with 2 outs and a runner at first and a run in. There's that dipper again. Bowden from the stretch. Ooh, that's under the bill of the cap.
This was up and in right at the eyes. Nice job to catch it.
That's the kind of pitch that'll wrinkle your gizzard.
Whatever you just said.
This will not be playable.
Bowden on the bump started off his career at Texas A&M and pitched a couple of times against his old squad last week. Attended Orangefield High School in Orange, Texas.
The 2-2 to Arambidi. Fights it off. That one got in on the hands. Arambidi did a good job to live to see another pitch. Arambidi goes down on what looked like to be a sharp breaking, late breaking slider. And Bowden comes on to strike out a couple, but the Tigers get an RBI single by Cerna, and we've got a 3-2 game. Oklahoma leading in the 7th. Put up 3 frames without any action before they picked up one in the 6th to make it a 3-2 ball game. Oklahoma didn't score in its first couple of innings, but added markers in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3 runs, 6 hits for Oklahoma, 2 runs, 5 hits for LSU. Grant Fontenot returns to the mound as the 3rd reliever of the night for LSU. It's been Cooper Moore, Cooper Williams, Maverick Rizzi, and Grant Fontenot. Walk. What a play! Ruckert going to his left, had to spin around, retain his footing, and then got it over to York just in time.
Jason Walk is asking for the
Oklahoma
challenge.
is challenging the ruling of out at first base.
Oklahoma just lost a challenge recently. This would be their 2nd and final challenge if they don't win it. Watch Ruckert here, straighten out. I think that's going to be reversed, don't you?
Let's see. Ball. Ooh. Ball, glove. I think he's safe. But they called him out. Okay, yeah, you can see. To me, the ball's not quite in the glove. You see the little white blur, but the foot is on the bag.
That first look we saw seemed to be the best to verify whether he was safe, which I thought he was.
Nice play by Ruckert,
Indeed.
nonetheless.
Indeed.
But you're talking about one of the fastest runners on this Oklahoma team. Walk's got 10 stolen bases on the year in 12 attempts.
And if he stays at first base, we could see him in motion.
Surprised it's taken this long, just because they have the setup over there at the SEC headquarters. See this side. See, to me, boy, that is so close. Foot to me looks like it's on the bag. Now you don't see the ball, but the ball's like not quite in the glove. It's not popped. You know, that webbing isn't popped right there. I think it's kind of on the way into the glove. Now when you see the ball kind of move in the web, but the foot's already on the bag. The only thing is that the call was out. You have to have enough there to reverse it.
This series will conclude tomorrow. It'll be a 2 o'clock start. We'll have it right here on the SEC ESPN network.
After review, the runner will remain out. Oklahoma has no challenges remaining.
So you're right, Ronnie. There was not enough to overturn it. A very, very close play. The original call was out, and it was maintained.
Nice job by Jack Ruckert. You know, I think it's one of those plays that had been called safe. It would have stayed safe. Called out, stays out. The old saying, tie goes to the runner, is not true.
Here's Gamble at the top of the order. He is 1 for 3. Now Milam switches places with Ruckert on the right side. So Milam is playing where the second baseman normally would, and Ruckert has moved to his right and is on the grass where the grass meets the dirt, close to second base. Gamble quickly is walked. It took only 4 pitches to get him to first base.
Fontenot is pumping strikes, throwing hard, and all of a sudden just a quick 4-pitch walk there. That'll get the bullpen milling around. Devin Sheeran is just standing around down in the LSU bullpen. Maybe he's already ready.
Jay Johnson is making the call. Looked like he wanted the left-hander.
Okay, then I guess.
Well, that's the Army held up.
Garcia would be the one that would come in for the second time. Garcia already knows his way to the infield dirt because he's already been there once tonight.
3-2. Oklahoma leads in the 7th. We'll be right back. The next pitcher for LSU. He's from Las Cruces, New Mexico. No record of 5.68 ERA. This is his 8th appearance. He's been basically called upon to get out left-handers. 6 1/3 innings, 6 hits allowed, 13 strikeouts, and 4 walks. He's had some good outings. They've been short ones. But he's a guy who's getting a more frequent look out of the bullpen.
Yeah, they're getting a little more confidence with him. He is a transfer from Oregon. ERA, like you said, 5.5. Opponents are batting .250 against Garcia. He's fastball 92 to 94 miles an hour, overhand curve, slider. LSU looking for those three or four relievers in their bullpen that they can count on the weekend, that they can hang their hat on. You know, they know what they're going to get 3 out of every 4 times, 4 out of every 5 times that they go out there. They're looking for that consistency, and he's one of the guys in the running for that. Little LSU Tiger dancing, enjoying the night. I mean, it is an absolutely perfect night for baseball.
That's precious, isn't it? She's got all the moves. They've gone to the bottom of the 12th inning in softball. LSU at South Carolina tied 5 apiece. Bottom of the 12th, home team hitting. Garcia misconnects with York. Boy, you just can't do those things in this type of game and expect to get away with all of them.
Yeah, another error for LSU. That's been a trouble spot for the Tigers this year. LSU
Not
now
sure against whom they've charged the error. Probably the pitcher. We'll see.
29 errors on the season for the LSU in 23 games. They came in with a .965 fielding percentage. Anything below .970 is not very good. Last year they had one of the best fielding teams ever, .981 fielding percentage.
That was an error on the pitcher. 2-0 on Johnson. He has struck out and grounded out twice. Only one out, a Sooner at second base. Gamble takes his lead. And the pitch. Hit pretty well to left field. Stanfield backing up, backing up. He's under it, he's got it. That's a big second out with no advance from second base.
Garcia went to the same high school, Centennial High School over in Las Cruces, New Mexico. They were a teammate of Stephen Milam's. Those two are best friends.
There's a strike to Brendan Brock. He has struck out, lined out, and struck out. This is the third pitcher he's faced. That stays upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Willits is on deck, 2 outs. Steve right. Garcia is ahead in the count. A 1-run ball game in the top of the 7th. Oklahoma leads. Swing and a miss. Garcia comes out of the bullpen and leads things the way they are.
He reached back for his best pitch. He went fastball, gave it everything he had. 94 miles an hour up in the zone. You can see right here, he went right at the right-hander and had the big strikeout when the Tigers needed it most.
These teams have only played 3 times in Alex Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field. And this Oklahoma team has not won here. 0-2 in the 2013 Super Regional, and the only other game was yesterday.
And if you go back to last year, Tigers swept Oklahoma in Norman. It was like in the 20s, 30s, sleet. I mean, it was terrible weather. Oklahoma did not score an earned run in that series. Tigers dominated them on the mound. And so it's been a little run for the Tigers, but Oklahoma's trying to hang on here tonight.
They lead by 1. York pops this one out of play. He has struck out twice. Ruckert will follow, and then Stanfield. Bowden came out of the bullpen in the 6th inning. Gave up a base hit, but then struck out a couple. This is the bottom third of the order for the Tigers. That is belted long and deep and very foul. Up in the right corner. Plenty of distance, but very much of a hook to it. The 2-2 pitch to the big fellow. Just off the plate. Mercurius went 5 1/3. And it's been Bowden since then. And there's a call, third strike. And Zach York has fanned 3 times tonight.
Boy, Bowden has been outstanding since coming out of the bullpen.
That's 3 strikeouts in a row over the course of the last 2 innings.
By the way, some big news out of SEC baseball tonight. Alabama shuts out Florida 6-0 in Tuscaloosa, but that's not the story. Tyler Fay threw a no-hitter for the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's the first solo no-hitter for Alabama since 1942. Congratulations to Tyler Fay. What an unbelievable moment that is.
Seth Dardar is going to pinch hit. So he's batting for Ruckert.
How about this line for Tyler Fay? 9 innings, 13 strikeouts, 2 walks, no hits. That's quite the performance.
Mastery. Dardar has a couple of home runs. His average has dipped to 218 after a much better start. 17 driven in. So Missouri beat Tennessee 8-4. Georgia leads Texas A&M 7-2 in the top of the 8th. Top of the 7th, Arkansas 22-4 over South Carolina. Alabama behind the no-hitter beats Florida 6-0. Auburn shaded Texas 4-3 in the first game of that series. That's in Auburn. Dardar strikes out. Well, that's 4 in a row recorded by Bowden on strikes. Kentucky is leading 3-1 over Ole Miss in the bottom of the 7th in Oxford. And Mississippi State in the top of the 6th inning leads Vanderbilt 4-1. You're up to date in the SEC. Bowden is pumping strikes, isn't he?
I mean, he is locked in. The Orange Texas product, feeling it.
That's a fair ball. And Johnson can't handle it cleanly. And Stanfield is aboard. He tried to make a short hop swipe and got leather on it, but couldn't hold it.
Well, that's what you do. You put the ball in play. Instead of striking out, good things happen, especially if you Stanfield and have speed. Now, let's see if they start the runner with 2 outs. I would think that Stanfield's going to be looking to go.
That was ruled an infield hit. So Stanfield is 2 for 3. The infield hit comes with 2 outs. And here is Milam.
Yeah, if you start Stanfield, even if he gets thrown out, you can start the inning off with Milam at the top of the order in the 8th. So if you're LSU, you're going to maybe try to guess right on a breaking ball.
If you're a Tiger softball fan, there's bad news tonight. It took 12 innings to do it. But South Carolina beats LSU 6-5 in a 12-inning softball game. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Oklahoma team. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers.
You know, technology is a wonderful thing when it works. This catcher had the same issue in last night's game as well.
Well, now every traveling roster includes a licensed electrician.
What's amazing to me is, what if it doesn't work? Can they play anymore without the earpiece? I mean, we can't do the signals, huh? I can tell you, in all my years playing baseball, rarely did I play in a team that stole signals and was able to decipher what was going on. That was a very rare occasion that came into play.
Milam waiting. Ball 1.
96 miles an hour from Bowden.
Stanfield stretches his lead a little bit.
Oh, that's a balk, right?
It is.
My goodness. He didn't disengage from the rubber. He didn't step back. Instead, he spun the throw and didn't throw. This is just sort of a.
That's clearly a balk. That's just a mental freeze.
Yeah, just the moment got him. You're worried about Stanfield. You're trying to get the signal. Your earpiece is not working right. You know, the whole thing.
Stanfield will advance to third on a ball that's behind Milam. A wild pitch. And all of a sudden, things are getting
You might want to
rocky.
make a mound visit here just to settle him down. Yeah, and that's what Skip Johnson's going to take that. This is too big of a moment for Oklahoma with the tying run at third and 2 outs. You got to try to settle your pitcher down.
This is why you come to the ballpark. This is why you love college baseball. This place will be rocking when play resumes.
I mean, Bowden's been outstanding until the last couple throws. Look at that. I mean, he hasn't walked anybody. He's got 4 strikeouts. I mean, Stanfield had an infield chopper, a swing and bunt really down the third base line, and then Bowden just kind of had a brain freeze when he spun and didn't throw, and then the next pitch went all the way to the backstop.
The crowd comes to full throat. Three and 0.
And Jake Brown is on deck. So if you're Stephen Milam, you might want to take a couple here.
That hits him, I think.
It
yes,
did,
it
yeah.
did. And that may have saved a run.
That's actually a good thing for Oklahoma that it hit him.
So Stanfield will have to return to third. The ball is dead immediately. Milam is plunked. Runners on the corners, and LSU's best hitter is coming to the plate.
I got him right on that right thigh. You can see the ball deflect off of his leg. Boy, it's amazing how quickly it fell apart for Bowden. He was so good for 4 batters, and then all of a sudden a swing and bunt, and then when he picked off the first and didn't throw it. It just all unraveled from there.
Caden Leon is next, and we'll take a timeout. Can LSU tie the score? 3-2, Oklahoma leads. More right-hander Caden Leon comes out of the bullpen to try to take care of the Tigers. He needs one more out to prevent LSU from tying the score. 1-0 on the year, an ERA of 1.74. That's over the course of 10 1/3 innings. He's only allowed 5 hits. He has walked only 3. He has struck out 11. Caden Leon is making his 9th appearance. Ronnie, he's got really good numbers.
Very good numbers. 1.74 earned run average, 11 strikeouts, only 3 walks. That's what you want to see out of your bullpen, and he's only given up 5 hits this year. So Caden Leon, one of the best. Fastball mid-90s for Oklahoma, and he's got one job to do with that tie and run at third base. Going to try to get that one out.
He'll have to do it against LSU's best hitter. Jake Brown at the plate. Runners on the corners. Milam is at first base. Stanfield at third. Leon to the plate. Ball 1. Ball 2.
A little surprised Oklahoma didn't go lefty here. I guess, maybe they don't have the confidence. They have more confidence in him than they do any lefty in that bullpen. But with 2 left-handed hitters in a row, Brown and Curriel, if you had a left-hander that was a guy for you, he would have pitched right here.
Ball 3. There is a left-hander in the bullpen right now for Oklahoma. We'll let the crowd tell you what happened. Oh, they let him swing on 3-0.
Wow, that's a lot of confidence right there. He's been the guy all year long. They were going to let Brown turn this ball around, and let him swing 3-0. You don't see that very often.
Ball 4. The bases are loaded. And Derek Curriel, who's had a tough night at the plate, has a chance with the bases full of teammates. He has struck out, bounced out, and struck out again.
Man, Oklahoma had trouble last night with walks and wild pitches. Here they are again in that spot. But as a hitter, Curriel's got to be looking fastball, right? You've got a pitcher who's struggling to throw strikes. He's got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So if you're Curriel, you're sitting on one pitch, and it's got to be a strike.
And Tiger fans are waving the torches in the stands. Here we go. Steve Wright.
96 from Leon. It's amazing how many guys in the SEC throw 95 plus. They want to make sure that they are on the same page. Can't have a mistake here if you're Oklahoma. So Brendan Brock, the catcher, making the jog out to make sure they are in sync.
Caden Leon unleashes the 1-strike pitch. 1-1. Curriel has come to the plate 3 times with the bases loaded this year. He has 1 hit. Two and 1.
Leon not able to get that breaking ball over. He's thrown it a number of times. The 2 hitters hasn't been able to get it over, so he's turned himself into a 1-pitch pitcher here.
Curiel got a good pitch to hit. Sliced it foul. A collective groan came from the crowd. 2-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. LSU trailing Oklahoma 3-2, bottom of the 7th. The crowd will tell you what happened.
Boy, what a big pitch it is. LSU's fans are on their feet. They know this is a giant part of the ball game.
A fly ball out to left field, playable by Gamble. He's got it, and the Tigers leave the bases loaded. So Caden Leon, in a pressure-packed situation, comes on and gets the job done. 3-2, Oklahoma still leads. The hits are even at 6. The runs are not. LSU trailing Oklahoma 3-2. As we go to the 8th, Oklahoma scoring in 3 consecutive innings, 1 in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Tigers got 1 in the 2nd on John Pearson's home run. They added another one in the 6th. They left the bases loaded in the 7th. And we've got a 1-run thriller here in Baton Rouge. Game 2 of the 3-game series. Tomorrow these teams do battle at 2 o'clock Central Time. We'll have it for you here on the SEC ESPN network. Jackson Willits takes a strike from Santiago Garcia. LSU has inserted Seth Dardar at second base. He has replaced Ruckert there. Caraway started at second base. He was replaced by Ruckert, and now Dardar for Ruckert. Reggie Willits, the Oklahoma associate head coach, was an outfielder a decade or so, a couple of decades ago here for Oklahoma State.
I don't know what that's
Oklahoma,
like to coach your son at the college level. You know what I mean? College pros. Is that neat? Is it too stressful? I don't know. But he's got to be making a lot of memories coaching his son Jackson.
Swing and a miss. Santiago Garcia, very quietly but very steadily, starting to play a bigger and bigger role for the LSU Tigers, and a more effective role coming out of the bullpen.
His dad didn't even give him anything. He was, I guess when you strike out, you don't want to talk to dad. And dad's not going to give son advice in that moment. It's the 20-second rule. You got to let things cool down for 20 seconds.
Milam charging, slinging. He does it again.
Doesn't matter if it's whether he's diving, moving to his left, right, charging balls. I think he's really good charging on slow rollers.
He is.
Really good. Yeah, if you're any pitcher, if you're especially his old high school teammate Garcia on the bump, you got to love having that guy behind you at shortstop. I mean, he just takes care of everything.
There's a pitch with some bend to it at the end for a strike.
82-mile-an-hour curveball.
Alec Blair has struck out twice and grounded out in between. He's played deep and pretty much straight away, a little bit as a opposite field hitter. Milam again. Wow, York saved him, but Milam with a quick pluck and throw, and that's all he could do. It had to be that snappy.
Now it was on its way to be an infield single, but Milam said, not on my watch. And then York showed some nice hands at first base. Tigers take care of Oklahoma in 3.
3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Sooners, and 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for LSU. Both of these teams have had some some one-run game opportunities this year. Oklahoma has been involved in 4 of them. They've won them all. LSU has been involved in 3 one-run decisions and lost them all. Here we go, bottom of the 8th. Omar Cerna. He flied deep to center, struck out, had an RBI single. 1 ball, no strikes from Caden Leon, one of the best in the Oklahoma bullpen.
Cerna's been hot. This is LSU would like to see him get a ball up in the zone and put a good swing on it.
He takes a strike. Cerna lays off that pitch. Ronnie, you mentioned earlier on a pitch like that it was a sign of Cerna's maturity and his getting used to taking close pitches and having confidence in his eye and his ability. We just saw one right there.
Yeah, he knows the strike zone a lot better now at this point in the season. And now he's got himself, because of that patience, in a really good hitter's count here, 3-1. So we're going to little mano-a-mano as Leon with that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball, sure to be throwing one here, 3-1.
It's a 5-pitch pass.
Now, will they pinch run Cerna? And it doesn't look like they will.
You've got Aaron Beatty, who could come behind the plate if necessary.
Third baseman, John Pearson.
But leadoff batters, when they walk in college baseball to start an inning, score more than 50% of the time. So LSU got what it wanted.
Pearson has homered, flied to right, and struck out. Ball 1 inside. Pearson's homer was a long blast over the left field landing. 2-0. Leon exhales and gets ready for the 2-0 pitch. It's 3-0, and the noise level is going to build. That's a strike down the middle. Aaron Beatty is on deck. Cerna takes a short lead from first base. There he goes, and now comes back. And this is out of play. Up on the roof.
Yeah, it's a good battle because Pearson is a really good fastball hitter. And that's what he's going to see. That was 95 that he fouled off. Key for Pearson is do not help and make sure it's a strike. That's hard to do sometimes when it's 3-2.
Snagged at third. There's an out at second and an out at first. That ball was hit very, very hard, and Camden Johnson made a fine play to start the double play at the hot corner.
That may have saved the game and won the game for Oklahoma. This is a sensational play defensively. A hot shot, backhanded. It gets by him. That's going to be a double. And Camden Johnson clears the bases. And wow, what a play defensively. Camden Johnson comes from a long line of good players too, Lynn. His dad played rugby at Texas Tech. His uncle Mark is a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. And his uncle Joe Driscoll played in the NFL for the St. Louis Cardinals in the 60s. So some pretty good DNA there for Johnson.
Arambidi with a count of 1-1, 2 outs. The bases suddenly clean. The pitch. Whacked foul up over the roof. Parking lot souvenir.
You know his uncle Mark Johnson was from Northwestern State in the College Football Hall of Fame.
The 1-2. High and tight. Arambidi digs in. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, off speed, and a good one. There's the young man who started the double play. And we move forward 3-2. Oklahoma hanging on. Everyone, Oklahoma with a 1-run lead. Both teams have 6 hits. We play in the 9th. And Oklahoma will send a pinch hitter to the plate. This is Gerardo Prado.
Yeah, Prado out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, went to Amarillo Community College, 6'3", 190-pounder. Only 1 for 10 on the season.
But they'll let him bat against the left-hander, Santiago Garcia, who's been good in relief for the Tigers. First pitch is a mid-popper, but high. The outfield fairly deep and mostly straight away. LSU is down to its last 3 outs offensively. The bottom third of the order is scheduled to hit for the Tigers. Swing and a miss. York makes the play over to Garcia for the out. Garcia has been good tonight.
Yeah. You know, you got to take some positives. Even if LSU doesn't come all the way back to win this game, this is one of their positives, right? Garcia putting another good outing together.
And Fontenot pretty good as well. But Garcia really the longest reliever of the night. That one is left high.
Now the story over the next few days will be, what is the status of Cooper Moore? And there you see the line from Garcia. 2 innings, hasn't given up anything, been outstanding. But Cooper Moore left the game first pitch 5th inning after working 4 innings. Threw a pitch, it bounced. We didn't see an obvious grimace or any sort of discomfort on the mound, but clearly LSU saw a difference in his body language, went out and made the change.
There's a shot into the left field corner. This is going to go for an extra base. So Prado, or excuse me,
Johnson. Well, no, check that. That is
Blair.
Branch. Kyle Branch with a hammer. Garcia dropped down, did a little something different. Traditionally, he's real over the top. That time he kind of came down a little 3/4, took something off, and Branch was not fooled.
He was not. And now Jason Walk is coming to the plate. He's 1 for 3. But LSU will gather again.
Watch right here as Garcia sort of. That was a little more over the top than I thought. It just looked different in live action, you know, the motion than it did previous fastball.
Let's see what Walk does. Jason has singled in a run and then bounced out twice.
Velocity still strong. 2+ innings. That fastball was 94.
Walk nearly came out of his shoes with that swing, but he was a little bit late. We've got a 1-run ball game in the 9th. Oklahoma trying to tie the series. The 3-1 pitch. Here's a strike. Swing and a miss. Santiago Garcia making a name for himself out of the bullpen tonight.
He got the call on the 3-1 that was borderline and then came back 3-2 and just challenged Walk up in the zone. Nothing fancy about that one. Went right at him.
So 2 outs and back to the top of the order in Gamble. A liner looped into right field. This is going to add a run to the Oklahoma total. Gamble on the first pitch singles loudly to right field, and that results in the 2-run lead again. Boy, that's important insurance for Oklahoma.
Oh, that's a breath of fresh air for the Oklahoma pitching staff. It was a 93-mile-an-hour fastball first pitch. Garcia challenged him and he turned it around.
So that makes the Tigers' task in the bottom of the inning a bit more difficult, trailing by 2. Here's Camden Johnson. They've got him out at second base. That'll be a caught stealing officially. And we go to the bottom of the 9th. LSU trails by 2. Oklahoma 4. LSU 2. Cleveland comes out of the bullpen. He'll work the bottom of the 9th and try to get the save for Oklahoma. This is his 9th appearance, 1-0 record, 4.76 ERA. He's given up 12 hits in 11 1/3 innings. He has struck out 12, and he has walked 3.
Well, Jackson Cleveland knows his way around the college baseball landscape. Started off his career at North Central Texas College, then went to Lamar, played a couple seasons for Will Davis, former LSU Tiger player and coach. Then was in Miami for the Hurricanes last year, and now Oklahoma.
He is the save leader for Oklahoma. He's got 3. So Jackson Cleveland trying to work for his 4th save. And York takes a strike and turns away.
That's last week. He got the win on Sunday against Texas A&M. Look at that outing. 3 1/3 innings, gave up 2 earned runs, but had no walks to go along with 4 punchouts.
LSU needs a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. The Tigers led 1-0 after 2. They were tied 1-1 after 3. And York is called out on strikes.
Boy,
that's the 4th time he's been left at the plate on strikes.
Look at this breaking ball. Pulls the string 80 miles an hour. Is that like a knuckle? Like a knuckle curve or something? The way that ball tumbled?
That was a beauty, and you're right, it was a tumbler. That last breaking pitch to York was dirtier than a coal miner's face after a double shift.
Watch right here. Watch the rotation of the ball out of the hand. Yeah, that's like a knuckle tumbler splitty. Like, that is filthy.
This is carrying out to left field. It's down. A base hit.
Oh, Dardar could have made it to second. He thought about it 2 or 3 times and didn't. Got a base hit to left. The guy dove. And Dardar could have been on the bag. This ball's hammered. A do-or-die play. Fortunate for Oklahoma.
That's Gamble out there in left field. Now, he thought it got behind him.
He loses it, and then when he goes to grab it, he doesn't pick it up. And but here's the thing: when you're down 2, you don't want to take a chance right there and get thrown out. There's the tying run is at the plate. Dardar is not the tying run, so that's why it's okay not to be overly aggressive.
1 out, and Stanfield at the plate. Ball 1. Oklahoma got a run in the 3rd, a run in the 4th, a run in the 5th, and a run in the 9th. A chop to 3rd. Out at 2nd, out at 1st. The game ends on an around-the-horn double play. The 2nd one in a row turned by Oklahoma.
Boy, Camden Johnson is something special over there at 3rd defensively, and you don't see that very often. A 5-4-3 double play in back-to-back innings.
To get a speedy runner, Stanfield